I have a block here, it's 2 inches square, 8.5 inches long. It's mystery wood, I don't know what it is, but it does have some nice grain in it. There's even some bird's eye, which with my luck will turn away, but we'll see what happens. There's also some fairly good sized cracks on the outside. They don't go right through, so I'm hoping that I'll turn those away as well. I'm going to try turning a weed pot or a Bud Vase, if you want to call it that. So sit back and relax and let's see what I can come up with. I have the piece mounted between centers. When I'm going to be using the chuck soon, I like to just put my step center right into the chuck to hold it. Then when I take it out, the chuck's all ready to go. So I'm going to round this over first thing using a roughing gouge. And I'll put a tenon on this end that I can use to mount in the chuck. I'm going to use my 1/2 inch skew chisel with a peeling cut to put a tenon on the end. It will chip out. It's very dry wood. There are some cracks there. Now I've got to reverse it. I have a 1 1/16 inch Forstner bit in my Jacob's chuck. I'm going to be driving it forward with the tail stock. I want to drill this hole 6 inches deep. So I'll drill to the length I can, which is about 2.5, and then I'll be adding an extension. I'm going to be turning it at 250 RPM so I don't overheat the bit. Now with the cone on my live center for support, I will start turning this using both my spindle gouge and a roughing gouge. I'm about to get too thin if I don't fix this up first. I'm going to coat this with some CA glue, hope it'll firm it up enough that I can keep turning. Otherwise I'm going to very shortly go through the wall. I have the whole thing coated now with thin CA glue. I used some accelerator. Now I'm just going to see if I can clean that off. The wood was very soft in some of these areas. Still a big chip there to come out. I don't want to get too thin either. Going through it would not make my day. Still a little room. Now that I am close to the size I want, there are some cracks here that will accept a little bit of sawdust or sanding dust and CA glue. I'm going to fill those, let that set for a while, and then I'll be back to carry on. Now with those areas filled, I'll see if I can do some more shaping without going through the wall. I'm going to sand this much. I have it sanded from here to 400 grit. Very pretty wood. I usually like wood with defects in it better than I do just perfect straight grained wood, and this has got a lot of character. Now I want to round this over, round the mouth right over. I will start with a 1/4 inch spindle gouge. Now I want to round the inside a little bit. This is a long way from the chuck, so I'm going to do it very, very gentle shear scraping with my 3/8 inch spindle gouge. Now I'm going to finish the shaping with what is usually our last shaping tool, sandpaper. And I'll be back. With the hole 6 inches deep, I want to come to about 7 1/4 inches. Give it plenty of weight underneath to keep it balanced. It's not a lot wider at the bottom, but a little bit. It's not like anything real heavy is ever going to be in there. Now I'll bring the tailstock back up with the live center, the cone to keep it running true. I'll start with a thin parting tool. I'm going to use my 1/4 inch spindle gouge now. I want to round this over a little bit. I don't want a sharp edge. I'd like there to be a bit of a shadow line underneath it. And then I want to come in here and clean that up as well as I can. When I part it off, then I'll take the rest out of there with a chisel, and it'll be pretty much finished. I believe I've left just enough room here to get in there with some sandpaper. Actually, I'm going to remove a little bit of this shoulder so I don't catch my finger on it. That's much better. I'm going to sand this, and I'm going to just cut this off with a chisel, and I'll be back. Now I'm just going to take my parting tool in there at an angle and part it off in there. Taken a small block and put a tenon on the end that I want to use to drive this, but it's a little loose. However, with a couple of layers of paper towel, it's plenty tight enough. Now I'll bring my tailstock up with the Jacob's chuck and a 15/16 inch bit to fit my logo coin and turn this. I'm just going to make a little recess for the logo coin. And that should fit it very well. And it fits just great. I'm just going to take some CA glue and glue that in. And there you have it. I found some seed heads in my wife's garden. We'll just keep that between us, okay? This is a little taller than most Bud vases, but I wanted to be able to put something like this in it, so a short one probably would topple over a little more easily. What I want to do is find one of those glass tubes, like they use in labs or something, so I can put water in it and then put fresh flowers in as well. Not really sure where to get those. I'm going to have to look around. Actually, I have a son who's a chemist, so he might be able to clue me into where to find those. I finished this with mineral oil. I just poured mineral oil into it, swirled it around a little bit, poured the excess back out, coated the outside, and I think it looks pretty good. Actually, it's my wife's birthday today, so I should try to find that glass tube and put a long-stemmed rose in there to surprise her. And me buying her flowers, she would definitely be surprised. So thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed this. Have yourself a great day and be safe in your shop. Don't forget to subscribe. Come back next time. Thanks again.